welcome everybody to the lesson today. I hope that's got the whole board in. I'm going to have to make this a quick lesson because I have a student coming along any second now. I hope that's got all of the board in there. The camera's a little bit lower. Somebody suggested that in the last class, so we'll see if it works better. Now, these are typical mistakes that my students have made over the last week or two. Let's start with number one. She was obsessed with the idea to have lots of children. Now, the only mistake in this sentence, it's a tiny mistake, everybody will still understand what this sentence means, of course. It's with the idea. With this noun, it has a dependent preposition, which just means it has a preposition that always goes after this noun. Of is that dependent preposition. Not sure what's falling down there, but of is the dependent preposition, and after prepositions we use gerund because the verb is in the noun form. So she was obsessed with the idea of having lots of children. Hope that's all clear. You just have to learn these noun preposition combinations and adjective preposition combinations and verb preposition combinations. Okay, number two. When my children will go to bed, comma, I'll have a ride on my new motorbike. Now the problem here is that this is actually first conditional. Now you might think that first conditional only starts with if, but that's incorrect. It can start with lots of different subordinating conjunctions, and when is one of those subordinating conjunctions. But it could be as soon as, before, until, any of those ones as well will function as first conditional conjunctions. So that means that this will is wrong. We say when my children go to bed, even though it's in the future, we use present. When my children go to bed, subordinate clause, I'll have a ride on my new motorbike, main clause. And that's why we have the comma there, because the subordinate clause is coming first. Okay, number three. If I was caught by a policeman, I would have been fined. Now this bit's good, because the student was talking about something that happened in the past, but he was talking about something actually that didn't happen in the past, but could have happened. So he wanted to really say, if I had been caught by a policeman, I would have been fined. And this bit's good, because this is third conditional for hypothetical past, which is if and had and the past participle, or the third form, and then would and have and the past participle. Yeah. And he used it right here, would have been, would have, and the past participle, but he just needed to remember that it's had been caught. That's past perfect, but passive. Okay, the next mistake, very simple mistake, but actually people make it all the time, and it's because we're quite illogical in England. We don't say it at 1:30 at night. We just don't say it. This time, 1:30 AM, is 1:30 in the morning. And anything after midnight we'll say in the morning. 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. That's 1 AM, 2 AM, 3 AM. At night is before 12. After 12 is in the morning. Okay, so please remember that. That will help you with your time. Okay, number five. Holmes was exciting because someone knew something. The student was retelling The Sport of Kings, which is Silver Blaze actually, but if you know this story about the racehorse, Sherlock Holmes and the racehorse called Silver Blaze. And the student was saying that Holmes felt excited, and that's the problem here. Excited is how people feel. Exciting is a good word for a horse race. The horse race was exciting. Everybody was cheering and everybody wanted to win some money. And Holmes had a bet on, so he was excited. He wanted to see his horse win. Okay, but the horse race was exciting. Holmes was excited. Okay, number six. They seem to enjoy their trip. This is fine if you mean that every year my friends seem to enjoy their trip. However, the student is practicing to take a CAE exam, and she was looking at a photo, and she was saying that the people in the photo seem to be enjoying their trip. That's really what she wanted to say. They seem to be enjoying their trip. Much better to use continuous for pictures. For any photo or picture, you need to consider it as happening now. It's in the they're in the middle of doing something, so they're in the middle of their trip, so they seem to be enjoying their trip. Yeah, it's got to be seem to be enjoying their trip. And do remember that you ought to be using these continuous forms and perfect forms when you're describing pictures. It will impress the examiner. Okay, number 7, we have to be careful with the climate change. Climate change is a general thing. It's not my favourite topic. I actually find it quite boring, and I think there's a lot of hypocrisy in the environmental movement. But the problem is this article. You don't need an article when you're talking about something in general. And here we're talking about climate change, which is a very general thing. Yeah, just a change in the climate. It's not specific, it's general, and so we need to get rid of that definite article. It sounds weird. We just always say climate change in the same way that we say global warming or something like that. It's the old word for climate change. Okay, number 8, not so much time ago. I'm afraid this is wrong. Not so long ago is the expression when you mean recently. Not so long ago, recently, lately. Number 9, the restaurant cost us too much for our meal. Now, I've been doing a lot of vocabulary with this student, especially on the theme of money, which is a very important theme for vocabulary because we all use money. And so it's got to be this: the restaurant charged us too much for our meal. To charge someone is to demand money from them. So you might say that my tennis coach charges $100 an hour for a lesson. Something like that. He demands $100 an hour for a lesson. Okay, so that's how much somebody demands. It's when somebody demands payment, they charge you. Number 10, there was so long delay that. This is a so and such mistake, and the rule is fairly straightforward. So plus adjective, but no noun, and such plus adjective plus noun, or just such plus noun. But quite often it's with an adjective and a noun. So there was such a long delay that. Okay, such a long delay that. So the student said something was so and such a bit later, and she said we were served such a terrible food. Now here she's got the such correct. However, with a word like food, there's no article. You never say a food, or very rarely anyway, and there are exceptions to that, I do admit. But usually food is uncountable, and uncountable words don't have the article a. You just say, we were served such terrible food. So well done, because the student got the such right this time, and realised that it's always such plus adjective plus noun. So such plus adjective plus noun. Such plus adjective plus noun. And you do need an a there for this one, because delay is countable, unlike food, which is uncountable. Okay, thanks everybody for watching. I've really got to shoot off now because I've got a lesson starting in a few minutes. But if you liked the video, please subscribe and give me a like. If you're interested in buying my book, which is on vocabulary, it's over here. It's on phrasal verbs. Please go to Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon. Or if you want the cheap version, the PDF version, which has hyperlinks, go to my website, skypelessons.com. It's not on the board today, but I can very quickly write it. skypelessons.com, and you can buy the PDF colour for £20 if you're interested in those phrasal verbs. Otherwise, I'll see you all very, very soon. And yeah, have a great day.